Hello everybody, and today I am going to be showing off how I built Yukong, how I think it is best to use her, as well as the team that I have her in, and then we're going to throw her into a battle with the team I have her in and see how well she does. So right now, as you can see, I have my Yukong at level 80 with 3000 HP, 2000 attack, 901 defense, and 145 speed with a 31 to 158 crit ratio. She has a break effect of 291 with an energy regeneration rate of 112. Her energy is at 130, which is why I find the energy regeneration to be extremely useful for someone like her, since she has a high energy cost. So for her light cones, the one that I have her on right now is an S5 poised to bloom. I really don't have that many options for her. Memories of the Past is also a good option for her to regenerate the energy for whenever she attacks. And I do want to try the Forever Victual on her, the new event weapon, because it does seem very good for her, because with having all three of the stacks after using her skill, it will give her a complete 64 attack damage increase, attack bonus, which seems really good. I have no other imaginaries on the team, so Planetary Rendezvous really isn't that useful. And I do have Carve the Moon, Weave the Clouds, which also seems to be pretty useful. She can make use of all of the stats for everybody that she's on a team with. I just don't have it leveled at the moment, and I'm a little low on resources from leveling up Poised to Bloom, so that's one she's going to use to give the other 32% crit damage to not just herself, but to Sunday and Sparkle as well, who also want to have the big crit damage buff. So for talents, I do want to get them all maxed out eventually. I am prioritizing her skill and her ultimate, and I do want to get these couple things as well, but I find the attack buff as well as the crit rate, crit damage bonus to be quite useful for her for when I have her buffing Finon. But what exactly do these do? Her basic attack is a basic attack. It deals 100% of her attack as imaginary damage to a single target. Pretty basic, pretty useful when she needs to use it. Her skill, Emboldening Salvo, it's a support skill. She obtains 2 stacks of Roaring Bowstrings. When it's active, it increases the attack by a set percentage. It's not influenced by any stats of her or of the allies. It's just a flat percent attack buff. Right now it's at 84%. Every time someone attacks, she loses 1 stack of Roaring Bowstrings, and she gets 2 stacks of it. Her ultimate, when Roaring Bowstrings is active, then every ally gets an additional crit rate and crit damage buff. These are also just percent based. Right now at level 10, it's 28% crit rate, 65% crit damage, and then she deals imaginary damage equal to 380% of her attack to a single enemy. Very useful, very high percent, very strong, pretty high percentages to help out. Her talent allows her basic to deal even more damage, more imaginary damage, and it doubles the toughness reduction of her basic, so it goes from 10 to 20, so it just helps her deal even more damage and reduce those toughness bars just a little bit more. Now for her bonus abilities, she has a Kyrion. She can resist 1 debuff application for 1 time. It can be triggered again after 2 turns. This is why I value effect res a little bit less on Yukong, because she can resist the debuffs when there's enemies on the field. If there's a little bit more, she may need to resist more often or not. That's why I value speed with her, which is I have her at a speed of 145. So with Bowmaster, when Yukong is on the field, imaginary damage dealt by all allies increases by 12. I don't have any good imaginary DPSs, except for the only imaginary one on the field is going to be Yukong. Increasing her damage never hurts. She's good to be there to deal more damage. When her last bonus ability, Majestus, when Roaring Bowstrings is active, Yukong regenerates 2 additional energy every time an ally takes action. That's 4 additional energy. Very useful to help her get her ultimate back since it has such a high energy cost. And then she has stat bonuses for attack, imaginary damage boost, and for HP because she does have kind of low HP. For relics, I went with a 4-piece Musketeer of Wild Wheat. She values the attack because she can function as a sub-DPS, and the 4-piece gives her even more speed, and it increases the damage dealt by her basic by 10%, since she might be using her basic every here and there, since she does require quite a bit of skill points to keep the upcharge of Roaring Bowstrings active. Then she may have to basic every so often. For her 2-piece, right now I have her in Penacony Land of Dreams. I don't exactly want to keep her in it. I do think one of her better options would be Lushaka. I have one of each. Neither one is that great, but I do like the set bonus that it gives. With the energy regeneration, I accidentally unequipped her rope. There we go. I do like the additional energy regeneration and then giving the first character on the team lineup more attack, 12% more attack. You can't go wrong with that. It's something Phynon wants quite a bit. So giving Yukong that is always useful. I would prefer an energy regen rope just because Yukong does have such a high ultimate cost. I just need to farm more of the Lushaka ropes and orbs. Obviously she doesn't want ice damage because she's an imaginary unit, but I do want to run her with Lushaka for this, so that's what she's going to be in right now. For Eidolons, I do have her at E6. So her E1 increases the speed of all allies by 10%. Very simple, very effective. She wants characters to have speed. She wants speed so she can apply more buffs onto allies. Her E2, when an ally's current energy is equal to its energy limit, Yukong regenerates an additional 5 energy. It can only be triggered once for each ally. The trigger count is reset after Yukong uses her ultimate. A little complicated, sometimes a little hard to work around. Essentially, once an ally's energy reaches its capacity, she gains 5 energy. Even after they use their ultimate and regain it before she uses hers, she doesn't get it anymore. She has to use her ultimate for the times to restack. So she can gain an additional 15 energy from this. Her E3 increases skill and basic attack. She wants her skill for roaring bowstrings, but obviously her ultimate is what gives her the crit rate and crit damage boosts. Her E4, when Roaring Bowstrings is active, Yukong deals 30% more damage. Very straightforward. Yukong wants Roaring Bowstrings active for her to deal more damage. Her E5 increases ultimate and talent. She wants the ultimate so she can increase the crit rate and crit damage buffs that she applies, which is why that one is very important to get as high level as possible. With her E6, when Yukong uses her ultimate, she immediately gains 1 stack of Roaring Bowstrings. Roaring Bowstrings is extremely important, and getting 1 additional stack does help with her, since it has such a quick cooldown time with it disappearing every time an ally takes action, whether they attack or not. Very useful constellations. With her being a 4-star, especially an older 4-star, it's very easy to get her in to E6, and I find it to be very important for her to work well. It helps cover her energy problems, it helps Roaring Bowstrings stay more active, and it's just helps her buffs all around. It's very good for her. So to show off what Yukong can do, I will bring her into floor 4 of the Apocalyptic Shadow.
day of peaceful light up the dark.
We'll just go ahead and enter. And this is why I run her with Poise to Bloom, so that she can spread her crit damage out to Sunday and Sparkle, so that they can pass that crit damage back on down to Finon and increase his crit damage further, so that he can then deal more damage.
Can you find the answer?
Spirit never dies. To the clouds!
So I am going to try to hold on to Yukong's ult until right before Finon goes into his ult state like this.
From the blue!
Get the crit damage and crit rate increase, so then when he is in his ult state, he has it all. Since it can't go away when since he is in his ult state, then Roaring Bowstrings is active the entire time, since it has its 2-turn limit. And with that, he reaches almost 550 crit damage and almost 100 crit rate. So he does a lot of damage with that.
I'll never yield to fate. Existence is of no consequence.
Which is why I also find Yukong to be very useful to run with Sparkle, since Sparkle can increase the amount of skill points that you have. And it just makes it a little bit easier to run her, since you have to constantly use her skill to keep your stacks of Roaring Bowstrings active.
I'll go easy this time.
Future will come.
Spirit never dies. Gale Force!
I'll overcome the thorns. Doubt farewell. No other choice but forward. For tomorrow.
So unfortunately, Yukong cannot get her ultimate every single time when he goes in, so he doesn't have the additional stacks from Roaring Bowstrings, but about every other ult Finon gets is when he's able to get all of the stacks from Yukong, because she is over half, 66 of the 130 of the energy required for her to use her ultimate to give all of the buffs from her skill and ultimate to Finon.
Feel the scorching heat. Tear the sky. So without substance. Hail the new dawn. So without substance. All stars burn to ash.
Let's play. Can you find the answer?
So I'm just going to use all of the
Guide you on your path.
The wind is
ultimates and then
rising. From the
use
south!
Sparkle's skill, and immediately after I use her skill, I'm just going to go in and ult, so then he has the crit damage buff from her skill. And then we did get this stuff from the Shadow, but he was also able He was not able to get roaring bowstrings this time either, but the next time he definitely will be able to.
Tear the sky! Shape that straight from the floor. The flames are not strong. Hail the new dawn. On my thunder. Quench the flames of blood. Ready but strike. So with substance. I'll never yield to fate. Tear the sky! All stars burn to ash. The future will come!
To the cloud!
Now farewell! For tomorrow!
And he's just able to go right back into it now. With all of his buffs active.
Tear the sky! So without substance. Hail the new dawn. All stars burn to ash.
So she is able to help complete in the Apocalyptic Shadow. It may not have been the prettiest or the best clear, but she is definitely there, and her buffs did definitely do something. He was able to deal more damage with her, obviously with the attack and crit damage boost. The crit rate boost was nice because then I can focus less on crit rate on Finon, so that then I can put more into his attack because Yukong is buffing his attack. Right, his attack and crit rate so much, with her adding 28% crit rate on top of everything, and it's not even maxed out. So then it gets up to above 29% crit rate that she's giving just from using her skill and ultimate on him. So then I can put more into his crit damage and his attack and things like that instead of having to go into fine-tuning his crit rate and fixing things like that. So that's everything I wanted to do with Yukong for now. I obviously still need to fix her build and everyone else's build. This is just a small process on how I am going about doing that. So if you like what is going on, please consider liking and subscribing down below and leave comments with who you'd want me to see on teams and what you think I should do next. Thank you.